my hands are so clean, yours aren't. And I was like, no, they're not. And, I was kind of just annoyed her hands were in my face, but it was a very off the cuff remark. I just said, no, they're not. I don't even know where to really begin with this. And my family are pretty devastated and upset by, everything that's kind of circulated in the news and social media from, my past relationship. And yeah, it's pretty hard to talk about, but I feel like, I've got no other choice now to stand up and defend myself. Like I really wanted, Whit and I just to move on happily with our lives and just, be happy. I want her to be happy. But, it's reached a point where I do need to stand up for myself and talk about, this whole incident that is circulating on the internet. About a year into my relationship with Whit, we were on a walk close to my flat. She got her nails done and she, annoyingly put her nails. She looked at me in shock and was like, "You're calling me dirty." And, I was taken back by that. I was, I felt insulted that, my girlfriend who I loved, who knows me, who knows that I would never insinuate something like that, is, calling me a racist and saying, you're calling my skin dirty. So I just want to first off say I've never called anyone's skin dirty, and I would never. Like, that to me is the most upsetting comment. And I think when Whit retaliated the way she did, amongst anything, I was super upset because, this is the girl I love, this is the girl I'm with. And then, it was a very emotional day for both of us. I was getting told, oh, the world's going to see, the racist that you are. And, that was super upsetting for me because, I love her family, I still do. And I didn't care about the public. It was more like, your family, you're going to paint this picture to my family that, I've called your skin dirty, when that never happened. And, she looked at me in shock and was like, and that was really upsetting. And then, on top of that, having the comment to say, the world's going to see the real you. Like, I, of course, was scared because I was like, this narrative of something that has been taken completely out of context is now going to be, shown to the world as it has been done now. And that's why I need to stand up and talk about it, because it's painting this picture of me, that I called her dirty, or I would regularly, refer to her skin as dirty. And this is just I'm trying to explain the context of the scenario so you understand what happened, and it wasn't that. And, I had text from Lizzie, she said, brother, you don't need to explain. Like, I understand, like, we know you're not a racist. Her mum called me, I called her mum, but that's been taken and spun and, made me to basically say your hands are dirty, or your skin, not even your hands, your skin, which it's hard to even say these words because, and that was against everything that I've been raised, coming from like a multicultural background, my mum being Indian, my dad Scottish, Polish, English. It's upsetting and devastating. Is, yeah, I don't know. And I feel like, ever since the breakup, it's like a constant prod online, whether it be the breakup post, like, this is the day he didn't choose me, or, I'm locked out, or other podcasts where, you speak badly about me, but I don't hold any like ill or, hatred in my heart towards, where I want her to be happy. I still do want her to be happy, even amongst all of this mess. And, that's what's so upsetting about this situation, is it feels like, this was done to cause harm. And, it is. So I don't even know what to say, really. I just want to, the person that I'm with is saying the world is going to see you for the racist that you are. And it wasn't even, her family, like, it was just such an upsetting situation. So me referring to things as like, a joke in text was me merely trying to like diffuse a situation where I was in complete panic mode because, something was being twisted in front of me and I couldn't navigate it, and I was scared and I was upset and I was trying to deal with all these emotions in one day. And, I mean, I even got support from, like, Lizzie and her family, and saying, don't worry about it. We believe you. It's fine. And, it was squished and it was moved on. But just seeing this being brought back into light, it's not even upsetting just for me, but it's the toll it's having on my family. I just want to put this all to bed and for everyone to get on with their lives and be happy and just stay blessed. Whitney, your family, the person that I'm
Hey guys, welcome to Love Black 101. Now I'm going to play her clips in a minute or two, but I want to say this as an introduction. You're not going to like what I'm going to say. You're not going to like what I'm going to say, because the general consensus is to immediately back Whitney because she's a black woman, and I respect it. The truth of the matter is, he said it. As he admitted himself, he did say it. In what context is what needs to be said? What is the context of the relationship that you guys are in, right? What is the wifeful context? Okay, now he definitely said it. No. Listen, we ain't gonna argue. He said it. Okay, he said it himself that he said it. But the question is, in what context did he say it in? What is the context of your relationship? Let me give you an example. I used to have a boss at work when I worked a years ago. White guy, tanned. We used to joke all the time about race things. Right? He would say he'll look at the I remember we made a joke one time. There was a black dot that ended up in the milkshake machine. It was vanilla. And he said, "That looks a bit like you, innit?" And I said, "Listen, but you're the whole freaking milkshake, aren't you?" Right? And we had a back and forth about racial things. We joked and we said what we said, right? Both being racial, both saying what we need to say. Okay. So the context of the situation is, I can't now come out and be like, "Oh my God, he's racist." I'm like, nah, bro, we were saying racial things to each other. We had a good relationship like that. It was cool. I've had other bosses that tried to make a joke like that, and we do not have that relationship. I'm gonna look at it differently. You could say the exact same thing as my old boss, and you wouldn't get away with it because that boss, particularly, context. Okay, context. Now he made it very clear what his position is. Here's the thing. The argument is, does he talk about her skin, or is he talking about what he said about the nails aspect? Get your dirty hands out of my face. That's the question we have to ask that I don't think anybody's going to answer for, because they're going to go, he said, she said. Because in the text that the sister actually showed that he apologized, saying, "I wasn't linking it to your skin." Like in the text, the text that the sister provided, he says in the text, "I wasn't linking it to your skin." You know what I'm saying to you? So he definitely said it. Definitely said about, whatever, nails, whatever, however he said it, whatever, right? But he also made sure in that text a year ago that he said I was never linking it to your skin, right? Now, what's interesting, and I'm going to play her clips in a second or two, is this thing here. "Thanks, I finally fell in love with my skin he used to call dirty." Don't do that. Don't do that. Because now the context of that wording, okay, the English here is, "Thanks, I finally fell in love with my skin he used to call dirty." No, he didn't used to call anything dirty. If he said it once, he called you dirty, but it's only once. He didn't used to call you that. That sounds like he's continuously doing that. That's why I don't trust what Whitney's doing. Because if you come out and say that, if I come out and said, okay, he said a racist thing, right? Versus, oh, he's been racist. It sounds like he's been over a period of time. He said, if he said that one, I don't know what he was, we're gonna go a little bit deeper into that. I'm gonna play a clips in a second or two. But that in itself, like, he used to call it dirty. Did he? Because even by your admission, it's only one thing that he said about your skin. So why is it not? Do you know what I mean? So I have to start considering the evidence properly, and not just running with a narrative because a black person says that this is what it is. You know what I'm saying to you? So let's listen to her particular perspectives, because she does have a perspective, and I do hear, you know what I'm saying to you, and I want to be able to get that as well, right? So that we can understand, because I think we're doing a bit too much, personally, and I think she needs to be accountable. I'm going to be honest with you. I said this before about the way she dated with Lochan in the first place, about changing herself, trying to fit a narrative, trying to become like something. You know what I'm saying to you? And so for me personally, I'm like, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying to you? I'm not a big fan of that. Okay, cool. Let me. Okay.
I don't need 24.
Hold on now. I don't know why my headphones decided they want to not work for me. Okay. All right. And also as well, we have to take into context the timing of this. This is not a Janae and Kenny situation. I've been seeing a lot, and I'll do a second video about this. I've been seeing a lot of Americans talking about English people. This is what we mean. Y'all don't take racism seriously. It's not even the same. Kenny and Janae are not the same thing. Kenny and Janae are not the same thing. That woman found texts of that man calling her an N-word. In this situation, the context is that the family have said some jokes, whatever. You've been running with it. So if you've been running with it and staying with it, we got to have a different conversation. Let me tell you why we have a different conversation. If a black man came out and said, "I've been dating this white woman her whole family was racist. And then when he breaks up with her, she was a racist person. Do you know what we'd say? My man, why do these black men choose these white women? What? You see, this is what we're talking about. These black men need to choose better because they choose these racial white women. They think that white women are better than them. We'd honestly not have any sympathy for that black man. We would run to a narrative that says, we see what we mean about black men. This is what we mean when they date white women. We'd instantly run there. And what we're starting to see now, okay, what we're starting to see now is actually on more than one occasion now, this is why I said about motivation as to why you're choosing somebody of a different race. If it is because you think that the other race is better than the other person, you're going to find out like anybody else. I don't like it when black men do it. I find it despicable. And I find it despicable when black women do it too, right? So, you know, that's what I'm saying about being accountable. It's like learning that your decisions, okay, all right, and understanding the motivation as to why you made those decisions. You know what I'm saying to you? Now, his family was a little bit racist by what she said. So we're going to play her clips and we're going to go a little bit deeper into what she said. Okay, we're going to go a little bit deeper into what she said. So let's get her back on the screen. Let's hear what her thoughts.
Hours to respond. Like, Lochan, are we doing this? Are we really going to go for the nice boy, puppy dog eye look? Really? Back to the situation of how it happened. We were walking back from lunch, going back to his place, and I was in the sun, and I was like, babe, look how my skin glistens in the sun. And he looked at me and he was like, ugh, it's dirty. And then only when I lashed out, he was like, it was a joke. It was a joke. And he was crying. He called all my family members saying it was a joke. It was a joke. And because Lochan gives off this golden retriever energy, like no one would ever believe that he would ever say it maliciously. But you guys know I have dark humor. So I know when something's a joke and when something's being said seriously and then span into, oh, it's a joke. I don't need 24 hours to respond. Like, we're really going to dive into it. When I used to come to your house, what did your mom used to say to me? The guys, the lights would go off and she would say, oh, where's Whit gone? Whit, smile. And that was an on-running joke in that household, like, Whit, smile, Whit, smile. So I just hate the fact that he's coming on the internet acting so, like, innocent. I'm not even here saying that Lochan is a racist. I'm here saying that he made racial slurs. Yes, racial slurs towards me. This is the same guy that used to pocket watch me and say, oh, why didn't you tell me you got paid today? Oh, like, the bill's on you. Pay for the rounds of drinks for my friends. Like, I can't even believe the poppy dog eyes and the, oh my gosh. This is the same guy, and you guys, you can go and roll the tapes because it's there on his Love Island tape. This is the same guy that told me he was Spanish when we met. The same guy that made me go, I don't even know where it was, far away. We're really going to dive in to draw his hairline, and then on that same day sent me home, as in I couldn't sleep in the house. And this is the same guy whose friends used to use the N-word, and he would condone it by still being friends with them and going to paddle with them. And I used to tell him, this is where someone tweeted about me being on the train saying the N-word, because I was like, why are you hanging around with people who obviously have that word in their vocabulary? And I'm obviously a black woman. And one day, I'm sure you anticipate on having kids with me, like you said. So therefore, your kids would be black. So why are you condoning your friends talking like this? That's what that argument on the train was about. Are you guys asking me, why did I go back with him? No, we broke up when that racial slur happened, right? And then moving forward, it was turbulent in our relationship. That was very on-and-offy. That's why I wasn't posting much online, because I didn't want to put forward something that I wasn't genuinely feeling to my core. So I got to draw his hairline, and I wanted to break up with him. I was saying to him, like, yeah, feelings are still there, but I just don't see this going in the way that I want my future to go. It's the same guy that gaslighted me and said, oh, I want to marry you, I want to do this for you. Like, guys, he took me to therapy with him, to do couples therapy. And then the whole inside thing happened. And then Bob's your uncle, he was gone a week later because I didn't get the same clout that I got from Love Island. Really? Lochan is a culture vulture. He clocked that his audience obviously is predominantly Black. So he's constantly trying to tap into the culture, but the same culture he stripped me of, the same culture he told me I was too ghetto, I was too loud, my family can't come to his sister's events because they'll steal the attention. There was so much that went into that relationship, hence why I wanted to break up with him. I was saying to him, when I first came out about my breakup, I was very much like, I'm going to protect him. I'm only going to say the good. It's the right thing to do, the nice thing. But then with time, he allowed this narrative of me to be ran. Even though he was silent about it, that silence, it bred story times. It bred room for people to give their opinions and say things about me that wasn't true. And when I went to put out the statement, he was like to me, can you specify something about the inside thing? Can you put that in there? And I was like, why are you even thinking about that? Because at that time, I wasn't even thinking about that. But why are you thinking about it? Because that's exactly what it was about, the inside backlash. I was constantly giving him grace. But when did he ever give me grace? So it got to a point where like now, it's me or you. And this time I'm going to pick me. The same way you're sitting there saying, oh, I need to defend myself. You've got nothing to defend yourself from, because I know how good I was to you. I know how much when I first came out about my breakup, oh, I need to defend myself. You've got nothing to defend yourself from, because I know how good I was to you. I know how much I fueled your platform. I know what kind of girlfriend I was. Like when we come out of Love Island, we were both broke. And I know who was running the checks, who was paying the bills, who was fueling the dreams, who was creating. Wait, don't even get me started. I gave him this travel series idea in January once we said we're doing this. And I told him, you need to go and travel the world with your cooking content. You need to go and get down with the locals, get down with the community and show people the different side to the world of cooking, right? And then in February, he's like to me, oh, what's it called? I'm going to go to Costa Rica for 3 weeks and you can't come. I'm like, well, why can't I come? Even if it's the last week? Oh, I need to defend myself. You've got her saying anything. And then even coming down to break up, he's like, yeah, I want to be with someone that lets me go 4 months at a time and I can come home to them. And I was just like, well, good luck. That's why I didn't really fight for that relationship, because one, it was evident, because he was never there after the whole inside backlash. I only saw him once, and when I saw him, all he done when he came was watch TV. So at that point, I was done anyways, even though we had an amicable breakup, because I think we were both mentally just drained. But even though we had amicable breakup because we were both drained from the relationship, like I went out sad to protect him. And this time round, I'm not doing that. Just because you come on here with your 3-day speech that you put together and your puppy dog eyes, like her saying anything. And then even coming down to break up, he's like, yeah, I want to be with someone that let you know you didn't love me. You loved what I could give you until I could no longer give it to you. So please stop lying, Lochan. Please. That's why you've been calling me, not me personally, you've been calling my family, you've been calling management to take it down, take it down. If you knew you didn't say those things before I even stated it was your name, why are you belling off my phone? Why are you belling off my sister's phone? Why are you sending 100 texts? And the question of why is it coming out now? Well, I was embarrassed, I was ashamed, and I didn't feel like that's part. You didn't love me. You loved.
Cool. So, like I said before, I think Lochan said it. I'll go online to you. Okay, I think he said it. Okay, all right. I think he said it. And of course, like she said, obviously, his mom has made several jokes around you know, lights off and smile. She's made some racial jokes in that respect as well. She mentioned about his friends as well being racial in that particular respect as well, or at least saying the N-word. And obviously then she said, obviously she broke up with him for a period of time. And then obviously she went back to him. Now, this is why I'm going to say to you, you got to be accountable. I'm going to tell you. Now, some people are going to pass her accountability off and say, but because you got feelings, I don't give a heck. you got to be accountable. Once you recognize that person's racist, quote unquote, to say, because she told us that he's not racist. So I want to make it very clear. This is what I'm saying about being accountable, and everyone has to be accountable. I say everyone has to be accountable because whenever we do this, we try to make people excuse from their accountability. If you right now, we only know this information because Whitney's let us know. Like Lochan was quiet as a church mouse, getting on with whatever he was getting on with. He hadn't spoken about you. He hadn't talked about you. He'd gone on with his life. And this is not the first time that you've brought out a public display about your relationship that after the breakups happened. So it's like you guys didn't break up messy. You broke up amicably, as you said, because you both were tired. And this is not the first time that Whitney has come out to talk about the situation. You know what I'm saying to you? It's not the first time that she's come out to talk about the situation. Okay? So my thing is this, right? My thing is this. I think he said it, you know what I mean? Or at least he said some racial joke. I believe he said some racial joke, right? Whether he linked it to her skin or not, it's really irrelevant, really and truly. He made a racial joke. It didn't pass. She was offended by it. He then called her family and said, hey, he apologized. He said he's sorry. This is not what he was trying to intend. It wasn't what he was trying to do. And that was not the MO of what he was trying to achieve, right? He wasn't trying to do it. Whether you agree with that or not, okay, cool. Hold on. I want to be able to get the... There's a... sorry. I want to be able to get the... There was a, I'm trying to remember which slide it was. I'm sure there was a, what do you call it? The text message I want to be able to go into, and I'll get that in a second or two. But in the text message, he actually said, as well that, you know, he wasn't trying to link it to her skin. Okay, cool. Let's say he was being racist. Let's say he was being racial in a particular respect, right? Now we've got more information. He was leeching off you. He wasn't paying the bills, apparently, and you know, because you came out, okay, because he came out, and you know, because he came out and he, you know, you came out, sorry, because you came out insider, because you came out as an insider, and you were obviously called out for your behaviors, rightly or wrongly, whichever one. He didn't necessarily support you. In general, this is just bad partnership, right? As a partnership, it's just bad partnership over the relationship. Whether it was a racial informed way of him trying to take your money, trying to use you for your status, he might have been. I'm not gonna deny that fact there. He might have been. You know what I'm saying to you? He might have done. Now, you giving him the idea about going to cook around the world, again, I hear it, I understand. The timing's really interesting though, because obviously this timing has happened. The timing has happened because obviously he's come out with a picture with another black woman, but she's actually, I think she's Asian, a particular Asian country, I can't remember. And I think she's like a mix between African and Asian or something like that as well. Okay. And that picture came out and then disc drops. So I actually don't know what the trigger point was for Whitney to come out and say what she said. Like, what's the trigger point? Because it almost feels like you were waiting for him to trigger you to then say it, but he hasn't done anything. He's been silent. So again, I'm asking that. I have to ask that question about the motivation of where it's coming from, because you held all this information in, and now it's weighted to what? He's now with another black woman, and it's like, okay, are you trying to help the other black woman? Maybe that's what you're trying to do, but we never heard in any of her statements about her saying that kind of thing. So doesn't seem to be that kind of situation. It seems to be you're saying, obviously, you feel offended by something, but we're not sure what, because it hasn't been made clear as to what the offense is that he's done that's made you want to come out now and say all these things he says. So the timing looks bad because there is no motivation for her to say it. Now, someone can say, oh, you know, if you're a victim, you can say it whenever you want. Yeah, but imagine you said it at a particular, you have to look at the timing. Imagine you said it at a time where he's not saying anything to you, not said anything to the press, hasn't said anything else. All he's done is quietly go about his business. And then he pops up with another black girl, and then we come out of it. So it is going to look malicious because it's not the first time. Do you get what I'm saying to you? The last time we had this conversation with our old girl was when I think he was linked to another girl or whatever, and then she came out and was saying something about poetry or saying something about whatever she was talking about. And it's like her timing seemed to be quite like whenever he's doing something publicly, it's like you nail him there. You nail him there. And at some point, you're gonna have to answer the question: are you? It's coming across bitter. You know what I'm saying to you? Like it's coming across bitter. And so I'm questioning that. But we have to go to what she said, okay, versus what he said. There's a general environment of racial tension and issues within his family unit, right? For instance, talking about the fact that mum makes these racial jokes. Now, of course, it sounds like Whitney was uncomfortable. I don't know. Did he have a conversation with his parents around this? Did he ever have a conversation around with his mum about the fact that, you know, your mum is making these racial jokes and she's uncomfortable? What was a conversation about that? Because the texts by Whitney's sister don't actually back up Whitney at all. I know they came and said Whitney's sister was backing her, but the texts don't prove Whitney's case. The text actually prove more of his case, that it actually wasn't on purpose and that he didn't do it to try and maliciously hurt. I want to try and see if I can get the one where the text is on. I just need to find the right picture for it. So hold on now. Let me see if I can get this quickly.
The person that I'm with is saying the world is...
Okay, so I want to see if I can get the clip for you guys as well, because then that will allow us to kind of analyze it. Because in the text, like I said, the sister actually says, "We know you're not racist." You know, in fact, I can read it. Okay, I can't put it on screen just yet. So let me just see if I can
get his attention. What she wanted.
Who's got the picture? I want to see who's got the statement. Okay, see the text. Let's see if I can get the text for you guys. Okay.
Oh my God, bro.
Okay. All right. So there's several texts that are coming that are on there, right? The initial conversation, and then obviously the sister obviously replying to and saying yes. Okay, cool. Let me see if I can put this up on my screen so you guys can see it. Okay, cool. Let me get this up. Baby, because this thing it'd be difficult, man. Because like I said, I think also as well, there's she said she has dark humor as well, right? So I'm wondering if there was already some kind of jokes that were being made already within the confines of the relationship that probably was not appropriate. Okay, so that's the third one, right? Ends in 2. Okay, let me put this one on the screen so you guys can see it as well. Okay, hold on. Let me put this on the screen. You know what I mean? Let's have this.
Really upsetting. And then, you know, on top of that, having the comment to say the world's going to see the real you. Like, I, of course, was scared because I was like, this narrative of something that has been taken completely out of context is now going to be, you know, shown to the world as it has been done now. And it wasn't that. And, you know, I had texts from Lizzie.
Okay, cool. Let's get text. Okay. This text is from the sister, but I'm just other text as well, which I'll get in a second, okay? It says, he's texting the sister and says, "Brother, I'll give you a call back when I get in. Honestly, I don't even need to know the context or the conversation to assure that I know you're not racist, Lock." Now, if the sister's saying this, Whitney's saying this, why is Whitney bringing this to our table? Like, if the sister is saying that he's not racist, Whitney herself said he's not racist, what is the problem? Do you get what I'm saying to you? What are we trying to achieve now? What is the purpose of bringing this to the table? Why do we need to know? What is it that we want? Why do we need to? Are you just telling us because you want to be able to get your viewpoint out? Is this like, oh, is this my tell-all? Is this your tell-all? You know, let us know the purpose of the reason why this is coming out now, because it does look a bit, conspicuous in terms of the timing, right? But if you really told us that he's not a racist, and your sister said he's not a racist, okay, all right, but if it says some racial things, and you believe he's not a racist, why do we need to know? Why is this whole elaborate story coming out? Because if he's a racist, we're calling him out and saying he's a racist, let's call him out. He needs to change. He needs to think about this. Blah blah blah. Right now, it's given lover scorned. Okay, so the sister goes on and says, "You don't even need to explain yourself seriously, from your background down to your family. It's been nothing but genuine love. You might be a lot of things, but racist is not one. And I can't believe you'd even bring yourself to explain that when it's so evident. You two are just constantly stepping on each other's toes. Everything's sensitive now, and it wouldn't, regardless of whatever callback, something like that." Okay. So again, I'm asking a question. What is the reason why we need to know this from Whitney? Why did we need to know this information? You see what I'm saying to you? We that's what I'm asking the question. I'm only asking the question in the sense of like, because it feels so ominous right now in terms of timing. But let's I'm gonna put a little I'm gonna get up another receipt as well, because there was obviously other texts that came out about the situation that we can analyze as well. You know, so let's look at this, because we need to, we there is obviously other evidence as well in terms of text, in terms of what happened. So let me just see if I can get this text up for you guys and you can see it as well, so that we can all just kind of walk through it a little bit and see it, you know. But like I said, my honest opinion about this situation is that I think I want Whitney to go. I want Whitney to sit down, heal up, and then come back. I want her to sit down, heal up, come back, bruv. You know what I'm saying? To, you know, sit down, heal up, come back. Because right now it's not looking good, you know. And whether the internet believes Whitney more or believes Lochan more, hold on. Okay, so let me share this tab instead. Hopefully, bro. Okay. Okay, so I think this is his text towards her. He says, same, I don't know what to do, Liz. I effed up. I can barely hurt or your family thinking I'm racist, or think that I crossed the boundary. I will educate myself better and not ever make jokes, but she's done. I literally don't know what to do. I don't want to lose her, and I'm not a racist. She's saying stuff like the world is going to know the real you, and it's breaking me because I know I'm not a racist at all. Okay. Then there's further texts that says, which is what I just read. But he said, obviously, you two are constantly, this is between him and his sister, you two are constantly stepping on each other's toes. Everything's sensitive now. I love you regardless. I will give Whit a call back to so silly, you two. That's why I thought, like, I never said anything to upset Whit. We're just joking, and I get why the joke is horrible, but my parents, being in an interracial couple, makes jokes all the time about the skin color because they are comfortable. Whit's not been with a white person. I've not been with a black girlfriend, so I can see why when boundaries aren't set, why they can explode like that. I feel really bad, and I love your sister and your family deeply, so it hurts a lot to think that your sister can actually think I'm a racist person. Like, surely not. I've drafted this message send to her, but I think I'm just going to give her space. I love you, sister. Thanks for your kind words, and I want to apologize to you and your family for all of this. I hope you don't look at me differently. What hurts too is Whit making comments saying the world will see the real you, when I know I'm not a bad person at all, racist at all. Now, of these texts, I think these are texts that are happening last year, right? So let me see if there's any more text. Hold on. I want to see if there's any more text to the situation. Let's see. Any more text? Well, that's it. Okay, I think that's the one there. And then I'm going to try and get another one. See, I think that was it. Okay. Oh, no, I think that's the same one. Okay, hold on. I think it's the same one, but we'll see. You know what I mean? So this situation here, let me see. So you guys can actually see it. Sorry. I know I was reading it. So those were the texts that came out. The first one I was talking about. So if you want to read it, I'll put on the screen. I want to definitely try and get a second one and see if I can get it. But like I said, this is what they were talking about, right? You're saying, look, I don't want to lose you, and this, obviously, the sister, he's talking to the sister, and the sister's like, I know you're not a racist. That's why I'm like confused as to, if they've already sorted this out last year, why is it coming back up again? Like, if this happened pretty much last year, I think, almost in a sense, right? Why are we here again discussing this particular issue? You know what I mean? What is the benefit of going back over this situation again? Why do we now as an audience need to know? You know what I'm saying to you? So I don't know. I just think to myself, like, this situation here, I think Whitney needs to sit down, heal, because when you're in pain, sometimes the way that things come out, it is confusing now. If he's not a racist, why are we discussing this? He might not have been a great partner. Maybe there's some things he could have improved on. All right, cool. You know what I mean? Let's move on. Move on. Because at this, and the reason why I keep saying this because we keep coming out with something, and it's like, and that, now it's a racial aspect, and I'm like, okay, so what do you want us to do? Do we cancel Lochan? Is that what you want? Because it sounds like you don't want us to cancel him. So what do you want us to do? Why do we need to, like, why do we need to know? If you don't want to cancel him, why do we need to know? All right. So I'll probably come up, if I come back a little bit later on, I might come back a little bit later on and do a live about it. You get what I'm saying? Then maybe you guys can have your say about the situation. But no, this one is just me just talking about it. You get me? So maybe I'll do a live later on about it as well. But okay, listen, my time is up anyway. Listen, I think that's all the text. There isn't any other text or whatever. But I'll probably do another live a little bit later on, maybe talk about it. But for me personally, I think that he definitely said it. He said something, at least as a joke, at least, or whatever. Didn't go over well. She is offended, and rightly so. And they were sorting it internally. They internally sorted it out. Family got involved. They were talking about it. They sorted it. I don't know why it needs to come now publicly now at this point in time, or at least at this time it seems, right? So, but again, I may have different thoughts a bit later on. I'm always open to different perspectives, but right now I don't really see it. I'm like, All right, cool. Appreciate you guys. Still up, so we'll see you again soon. Much love.